Hi, namaste. I'm Lorilyn and welcome back. This is week 8 at Lake Tahoe Community College, spring quarter 2020. And these videos have been a progression starting with the very basic standing poses. And now here in week 8, we're ready to move into a little bit of a flow, what we call vinyasa. Vinyasa, the word itself means linked flowing movements or a sequence of poses that flow together on your breath. So a couple of things to remember when we're doing vinyasa is to take a break when you need to. It is a little more of a vigorous practice in the sense that you're constantly moving. You may be moving slow. Today we'll be doing a slow flow, which should be a lot of fun, but it can still tax you in a cardiovascular way. So anytime you need to take a break, come down to Adho Mukha Virasana, which is child's pose, and I'll reintroduce that before we begin our flow so that it's fresh in your mind. And the other thing to remember is to stay well connected with your bandhas, your energy locks, especially those two lower ones, Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, lifting in and up at the pelvic floor, drawing in and up at the navel, and your breath. When we're doing a flow practice, it's a general rule of thumb that your upward movements, like lifting your arms, your outward movements, expanding outward, are inhalations. Right? It's just rather intuitive. Your downward movements and inward movements generally come on the exhalation. Breathing out as the arms lower. Breathing out as the palms come together at the sternum chest. And then finally, one more little tidbit here for your vinyasa flow, and this is our first one of the quarter, is we utilize a type of breath, a pranayama, called Ujjayi pranayama. Ujjayi translates as victorious breath. And it's called this, it's translated as this, because it's kind of a powerful sound. And we affect this breath, you can do it with me right now, get on your mat. We can affect this breath simply by tightening our glottis, which is tightening up your throat just a bit, so that as the breath moves in and out through your nostrils, yeah, that there's a little bit of a whispering sound. So all together, let's just give it a try. Let's have some fun and warm up our faces and our throats. So you're just going to start with a breath in. Just take a deep breath in through the nostrils, through the mouth, doesn't matter. But now as you go to exhale, open your mouth and make a sound, a whispering sound. Good. Now let's try that again. And this time you're going to take the breath in through the nostrils. Same thing though, you're going to tighten up the throat, making that whispering sound. And you should feel the throat constriction as it directs that breath more powerfully and forcefully through your throat. So again, inhale through the nostrils. Now open your mouth and let that whisper sound come out. Can you feel how you're doing that? Now you're going to advance that so that you do it on the inhalations as you breathe in and the exhalations as you breathe out, all in and out through the nostrils. So let's give that a round. Let's give it a try. Take your inhale in through the nostrils with that slightly constricted throat. And the exhale through the nostrils. Keep the lips closed, slightly constricted throat. Let's take another breath or two, just like that. And you can feel how when you constrict your throat, you have to send a little more energy into the breath to move it in and out of that narrowed passageway, right? It's like damming a river. When you dam a river, you start to control and contain the energies, and then you can use that energy, that electricity, as you wish. Bandhas work like that. We control and direct our energy with our bandhas, and we control and direct our energy by tightening our throat and working with different breathing patterns. So that's your vinyasa little toolbox of goodies that we'll utilize in today's practice. So let's begin that practice, shall we? Take your right shin in first and bring your left to the outside. This is a pose called Svastikasana, auspicious pose. Then, catching hold of the knees, pause for a moment and make sure that your knees are the same distance, equidistant from your hips. So one knee is not jutting forward over the other. And then the shins are coming forward to the front of your mat as well. So the heels are not moving in towards your pelvis, they're moving to the left and right. And then turn the eyes of the elbows up, bring your inner arms to your outer arms, and lift the sternum chest. The more you press down with your thighs, and the more you seal off at Mula Bandha, root lock, Uddiyana Bandha, the higher you can lift your chest. Now, looking straight ahead, squeeze the lower shoulder blades together a bit, but resist jutting these front ribs. So the front ribs stay in, firm and compact. Those shoulder blades, lower shoulder blades, come together firmly. The upper shoulder blades broaden to match the width of the collarbones. Now, bring your palms together and take the thumbs to the sternum chest. The base of the thumbs right to the sternum chest in Namaskarasana. The elbows point down, helping the shoulders release away from the ears. Level your chin. And before you close your eyes, soften your gaze. So let your eyes relax. Maybe it's rather like if you're stepping back from a window. You'd let your gaze just soften and relax. And now notice you see more out of your peripheral vision. Just by doing that, you become more receptive. Now take a full deep breath in, just a natural breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Expand the ribs, fill the lungs, and then as you exhale, sweetly close your eyes. Allow the upper eyelids to just fall naturally and easily to the lower eyelids. Let the eyes themselves move away from the inside of the lids. Again, a drawing back, a turning inward. And then imagine the orbs of your eyes setting down underneath your cheekbones, releasing the tension from the temples and the forehead and the space between the eyebrows. Soften your lips and relax the hinge of your jaw. Maybe swallow once or twice. And then let the tongue relax on the lower palate. Find a little space between your teeth. Turning inward for your sacred practice of union. That is what the word yoga itself means. To yoke, to bind, to bring together your body, your mind, your spirit, and then ultimately with the universal spirit. Bring your awareness to your nostrils now. Breathing in through both. Let the breath move easily and freely down the throat, no restriction. And notice how you feel today in this position. Does your mind feel a little busy, or are you starting to calm? Remember, your yoga mat is the sacred space, like a temple, but it's also like a training grounds where you practice staying calm and peaceful and connected with your breath, even in moments of challenge. This prepares us for those moments of challenge off our mats. Now bow your head to your heart. As you surrender the intelligence of your head to the divine intelligence of your heart. And we take a moment here to remember those who've gone before us on this path, our teachers, Sage Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras 2,500 years ago, and Sri B.K.S. Iyengar, and all our gurus. And as we bow our heads to our hearts, we remember that our greatest teacher is within us. Now a full deep breath in, maybe a little tiny smile on your face. Breathe in deep, fill up the back, fill up the side ribs, fill up the front ribs. And exhaling, float the backs of your hands down to your thighs and turn your palms to face up. Keep your chest well lifted and your eyes still closed. Bring your chin up to center as you breathe in. Keep your eyes closed as you breathe out. Now, without opening your eyes, bring the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumbs, creating a mudra, a sacred hand position that sends a little extra prana, flow, or energy through our hearts. In this position here, we will offer 3 ohms. Om is the sound of the universe, the primordial sound. And in the Yoga Sutras, Sage Patanjali says that just by chanting Om, you can reach that place of complete union, of total connection with yourself and the universe. A happy place, just by chanting Om. So let's get ourselves a little closer to that place, and together we will chant 3 Oms. If the sound of Om is uncomfortable for you, use a sound that is comfortable for you. You can hum, you can say Amen, or you can just be quiet. This is your yoga. Exhale to begin your first Om or chosen sound. Inhale. Catching a hold of that vibration up in your head. Let it spread throughout your body. And then open your eyes. We've been sitting in this position for a while, so let's change the cross of our legs. Go through straight legs. Move through Dandasana staff pose to switch the cross of your legs. And then reach your arms forward. Interlace your fingers and turn your palms to face away. Draw in at your pelvic floor, draw in at your navel, and then lift the arms. Working with those 2 energy locks down low at the pelvic floor and at the navel, create a lot of stability in the body. Draw in and up at those 2 places and see if you can lift your arms a little higher by pressing your thighs down. Now bend your left elbow and just draw your torso a bit over to the left and pulling with the elbow, stretching the roots of the fingers still. Keep your chin level. Inhale and come back up. Exhaling over to the right. Bend the right elbow. Let that right elbow kind of pull the left arm over, pull through the side left ribs. Keep the left hip down. Inhale and come back up. Exhale and bring the arms down, turn the palms to face up. We're going to do that again. We're going to change the interlace of the fingers, and we're going to add our Ujjayi breath. So finding that throat constriction now is tightening your glottis. Inhale through in and out through the nostrils. Inhale. Exhale, interlace the fingers, opposite interlace, turn the palms to face away. As you inhale, reach the arms above your head. As you exhale, bend your left elbow and sway over to the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, release arms. Bring your right hand to the floor. Inhale and lift your left arm. Exhale and sway over to the right. Press away with the right hand to send the left hip down to the mat. Using your Ujjayi breath and your bandhas, sweep yourself back up. Inhale up. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, over to the left. A couple breaths right here, pressing away with the left hand to send the right hip down, stretching through the side waist, the side ribs. Let's rise up. Inhale up. Lift left arm, lower right. Exhale over. Look up underneath your arm this time. Inhale, rise back up. Right arm lifts, left arm lowers. Exhale over to the left. One breath, one movement. Inhale, sweep yourself back up. Exhale, bring left hand to right knee, right hand behind you, and twist. You see how the poses are flowing one into the other. Keep your chin level. Look to the front of your mat and look over your left shoulder. Let the left shoulder drop down. Breathe here. One more round of Ujjayi breath. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to flow around to the other side on your next exhale. Breathe in. Lift the chest. Exhale and sweep it around to the left. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Wring out your belly. Warm up your spine. Turn your head to face the front of your mat. And then look over your right shoulder. And again, let that right shoulder drop down. You get a nice stretch to the sides of your neck. Eyes are relaxed. The gaze is out of the corners of your eyes. Keep working with your bandhas and the Ujjayi breath. One more inhale. And then right back to center as you exhale. Catch hold of your knees. Turn the eyes of your elbows up. Inhale, gaze up, arch your spine. Exhale and round your spine. Draw belly into spine. Bring the chin into the crook of the collarbones. Rock back onto your hips. Again, forwards and up. Inhale. Keep that throat constriction. Exhale and rock it back. You should be able to hear your breath. It should be very audible. Inhale, forwards and up. Squeeze those lower shoulder blades together. Broaden the upper shoulder blades. Exhale and round. Let the shoulder blades move as far away from the spine as you can. One more time in each direction. Roll it forwards and up. Lower shoulder blades, squeeze and lift. Lift your chin. Broaden those upper shoulder blades. Exhale. Press away. Round. Belly in towards spine. Chin into chest. And then right back to a neutral spine. Wonderful. You're going to roll over these ankles now and come to all fours on your mat, facing the short side of your mat. If you can't roll over your ankles, uncross your legs, swing your legs out to one side, and then come up. If you're choosing to make this type of a transition, make sure you're switching each time so you don't overtax the inner knees by just staying with the same side over and over. Rolling over your ankles is the best way, but sometimes that takes a little bit of practice and flexibility in the ankles. So if you're not able to do that yet, don't worry. Keep practicing. It's coming. Onto your mat now on all fours. Now spread your fingers wide, starting in tabletop pose. It's called this for obvious reasons, right? Take a look at your hands and turn your hands just the slightest bit out. So rather than having the four fingers facing forward, turn them out just a little bit. And this will do some nice things for your shoulders and your elbows and your wrists. Now look down at your hands. Bring the weight from your outer edges of your hands to the inner edges of your hands. That's underneath the index finger and underneath the thumb. This is the inner edge of your hand. The more this roots down, the kinder it is to these little bones on the outside and to your wrist, okay? Wrist injuries happen in yoga because of improper hand placement. Now that you know the proper hand placement, you'll never hurt your wrists. Taking the weight to the inner edges of the hands, inhale and gaze up. Press down into the inner edges of those hands and press down into the tops of your feet and your shins. Now as you exhale, keep grounding down. Notice the more you push down into the mat, the more you can round your spine. Bring your chin into your chest. The same action that we did seated. Again, inhale, come forwards and up. Lower shoulder blades engage, upper shoulder blades broaden, belly stays firm. Exhale and round again. One more time in each direction. Inhale, roll the chest forward, lift the chin, squeeze the lower shoulder blades together. Exhale and round. Now this time in your rounded position, push away with the hands and bring your hips down to your heels. If this is a little tight on the knees, you can always place a blanket between your shins and your thighs. Now inhale and come back up. Arch the spine, squeeze the lower shoulder blades together, and bring your Ujjayi breath back in. Exhaling with sound, round and press it back. It's a gentle little vinyasa right here. Again, inhale, roll forwards, lift chest, gaze up. Exhale, press down to round, tuck belly into spine, push away with those arms. Final time, inhale, come forwards and up. Feel your shoulders and spine and back warming up. Exhale and round. And now a happy little neutral pose. Come back to tabletop. Walk your knees a little bit wider than your hips now and bring your big toes together. Rolling the hips back down to the heels for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing hero's pose, or Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero's pose. Let your head rest on the mat or take a block underneath your head for a little extra support. If you feel like the mat is a long ways away, there you go. Pushing away with the hands, take a few breaths here. A great place to recommit to your Ujjayi sound breath and to your bandhas. And this position, child's pose, Adho Mukha Virasana, this position here is your resting position when you need to take a break in your flow. So lock this into your memory. Take one more deep breath. Side ribs, let them fill and expand. Keep your two lower bandhas engaged and keep that throat constriction. Here we go. Inhale and come up to all fours. Walk your knees back in line with your hips. Bring your feet back in line with your knees. With your hands intelligently placed, turned out slightly and the weight on the inner edge, tuck your toes under. And on your next breath in, lift your hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Exhale and press back. Reach your ankles back and down, your heels down to the mat. Firm core, bandhas engaged. As you inhale, you're going to come back forward onto your knees. Inhale and flow forward. Gaze up. As you exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine, and press the hips back. Inhale and come forward to tabletop again. Gaze up, squeeze those lower shoulder blades together. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, Ujjayi sound breath. Press back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's take that little flow again. Inhale, come forward onto your knees and gaze up. Squeeze the lower shoulder blades together. Exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine and press the hips back to the heels. Inhale, come forwards again, lower shoulder blades together, arch the spine and look up. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, lift the hips and press back to downward facing dog. Now we're going to take this into our full circling the winds vinyasa, which incorporates cobra pose, bhujangasana, a little deeper back bend. Let's go now. Bandhas engaged, ujjayi breath engaged. Inhale, flow forward onto your knees, arch your spine and look up. Exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine, and press yourself back, hips to heels. Now look to the front of the mat. Here's the new pose. Inhale, slide yourself forward. Keep the elbows in close to your body and bending straight back. And then exhale and slowly lower the torso down to the mat. Hands are next to your middle ribs. If you need to scoot them back now. Tops of your toes are pressing down into the floor and the buttocks tip towards the heels. You'll feel your belly move away from the mat. Now breathe in as you lift your chest. Use your back muscles. As you exhale, pull back with the arms and bring your forehead back to the mat. We're going to pulse this 2 more times. Bandhas and breath. Inhale. Lower shoulder blades, reach the chest forward, pull back with the arms. Exhale, forehead back to mat. Keep your elbows in nice and close. Final time. Inhale, lift your chest, pull back with the arms. This time we're going to go all the way back to all fours. Exhale, tuck toes under, lift the hips, and press it back to a child's pose version with the toes tucked under this time. Inhale and come forward, arch your spine, look up. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here and notice how your body is starting to warm up and respond to your practice and your breath. You can bend one leg, bend the other, shift your hips, and do whatever organic movement would feel good to you right here. And then settle into your pose, finding those bandhas again, finding the ujjayi breath again. Let's get ready to move a little bit more. Next breath in, weight is on the inner edges of your hands. Next breath in, lift your right leg. Lift it straight back so that you can see the toes and the toes are facing down. The inner thigh is rolling up. As you exhale, now look between your hands. Bring your foot forward. If your foot doesn't come forward, your right foot doesn't come forward to between your hands easily, you can always take hold of that back ankle, bring your back knee down, and help your foot to come up a little bit higher, and then lift that back knee. Now come up onto your fingertips. This is Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Left foot steps over and up, and then the back heel comes down to the mat. My back toes are facing the front left corner of the mat. Inhaling, rise up. Use your bandhas and take a deep breath in. Ujjayi breath in. As you exhale, flow those hands back down to the mat. Ujjayi breath out. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your back heel. Take a deep inhale, stretch the chest forward. As you exhale, step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Next, breath in, come forward onto your knees and look up. Next, breath out, untuck your toes, round your spine and press the hips back to the heels. Look between your hands. Inhale and flow forward. Exhale and lower down. Hands next to your middle ribs. Toenails pressing down into the mat, buttocks tucking towards those heels. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, forehead back to mat. 2 more times. Inhale, lift your chest, pull back with the arms. Exhale, forehead to mat. Final time. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Exhaling, big movement here, toes tucked under, come up to all fours and press the hips back to the heels. Give those toes a little stretch. Inhale and come forwards and up with the sternum chest. Look up. Exhale, lift the hips and press back to downward facing dog. Side B. Inhale and lift your left leg. Take a peek at that foot. You should see your toes and they should be facing down. The inner thigh rolling up. Exhale, swing the leg through. Have the knee in close to the chest to get the foot in near the hands. Again, you can always bring that back knee down and help your front leg forward. Come up onto your fingertips. Step over and up with your right foot for Virabhadrasana 1, plant the heel. Drawing back through the left hip as you rise up. Ujjayi breath. Inhale, flow it up. And exhale, flow it all the way back. Lift your back heel, come up on the fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale and flow forward onto your knees and gaze up. Exhale, untuck your toes, round your spine and press away with the arms. Inhale, look to the front of your mat, slide yourself forward and lower down with control, little mini push-up here. Hands next to your middle ribs, toes firm on the mat, buttocks tip towards the heels, lift the chest. Exhale, forehead to mat. Flowing this pose, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, forehead back to the mat. One more time, using those bandhas. Ujjayi, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, tuck toes under, lift the hips, and press them back to the heels. Inhale and flow forward, gaze up. Exhale, lift the hips, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You're here for about 5 breaths, so this might be a good place for you to take child's pose. Or it might be a good place for you to just sort of move your body around a little and check in with your neck and your arms and your legs. Just step your feet a little extra wide, and that makes this pose a little easier to maintain. 2 more breaths. Be on all 4 points of your feet, inner edges and outer edges, heels and balls of the feet. Now, if you've taken your feet a little bit wider or you've gone into child's pose, come back to your standard downward facing dog. And then look to the front of your mat, bend your knees, and on an inhalation, using your bandhas, step or float or hop or jog yourself to your hands. And then bring your hands to your shins and lengthen your spine. Roll the shoulders back away from your ears. Squeeze the inner shoulder blades together. Broaden the upper shoulder blades, firm belly. 1 more breath. Bow down. And you're going to rise all the way up with a deep Ujjayi inhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. Sweep the arms above your head. Exhale, bring the palms together. Bring them to the sternum chest. And then bring your hands to your sides. Close your eyes and take a few breaths here. Noticing if any heat is built in your body. Noticing how your arms and your legs are feeling. Notice how your emotions are feeling. We step on our mat and we bring our attention to ourselves in a positive, healthy way, not in a selfish, egoic way, but a very positive, healthy way. We start working on ourselves. We start paying attention to what's going on right here. It gives you a break from all that stuff that's going on out there, right? And so just this can make your practice a refuge. Just to get out of that day-to-day concerns and worries, step into your mat and reconnect with yourself. So good work. Now this next little pose is called tree pose or vrikshasana. It's a balance pose. Speaking of poses that require concentration and focus, this is one of them. Now bring your hands to your hips and we'll begin. Big toes touching. Good. Thighs firm, chest lifting. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees and then lift the heel. Bring your left hip in and firm this left leg. This left foot here needs to be facing forward, so make any adjustments necessary. So if those toes are facing forward, that will help you balance. And this entire leg becomes like your tree trunk. So power it up, firm the muscles to the bone. Good. Now Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Slide your right heel into your inner left ankle. And Ujjayi breath can be used here to stay with your breath, but let it be just a little less intense. So let the constriction release about 50%. So just a gentle spring breeze moving through your throat instead of an autumn storm, yeah? Now lift your right foot up off the mat and bring it to the inner shin. If all is going well here, you can catch hold of your ankle and bring it up above your knee to your inner thigh. We never want to have the knee on the thigh, on the foot on the inner knee. It's hard to talk and balance at the same time. Bring your palms together. Lift your arms above your head. Complete your pose. Peacefully move the breath. Use your bandhas. Soften your gaze. Take one more breath in, and then palms together, and right to the sternum chest, and then the foot to the earth, and then your hands to your sides. Close your eyes. Notice if you're a little breathless, or if you stayed with your breath pretty good that time. This is week 8. I should be getting a little bit better. But if it's not, be patient with yourself. It's coming. Every time you get on your mat, you develop a little more skills. This practice is cumulative. Open your eyes. Bring your hands to your hips. Side B. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees. Now pause here and make sure that that right foot is facing straight forward. The toes are facing straight forward. Now lift your left heel and bring your right hip in and push down into that foot. So right foot grounds down. Maybe you can even feel it spread out. The toes spread out, yeah? The leg becomes very firm. The muscles tight to the bone. Now slide your left ankle to your inner right ankle, your left heel to your inner right ankle, and pause here with the toes still on the floor. Find your bandhas and find your Ujjayi breath. Now lift your foot up off of the mat and just take it to your shin. Press the knee down and away. And if that's working, go ahead and catch hold of the ankle and bring the heel up into the inner thigh. Push the heel into the thigh. Press the outer thigh into the heel. Bring your palms together. Lift your arms. Breathe. Ujjayi breath, smooth, gentle, whispering breath. And final breath in. Palms together. Exhale, sternum chest, and foot back to the mat. Hands to your sides, close your eyes, and enjoy the feeling of accomplishing such a challenging balancing pose. Open your eyes. And turn to face the short side of your mat. Bring your feet together so that the big toes are touching. And have about 2 inches between your heels. There's a little space between your heels. Bring your arms down next to your sides. Lift your sternum chest. Now lift your arms above your head. Inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees and come into a sweet little squat. Here your bandhas really help. Use your core, use your breath, and take a peek. Make sure you can see your big toes. Now as we exhale, we're going to bring our chest right to our thighs. Reach those arms forward. Exhale. Bring the chest to the thighs. Reach the arms forward. Keep your legs in this position. Inhale and peel the torso up off of those thighs. Exhale. Bring the torso back to the thighs. Lower ribs to the thighs. Push down into the feet. Inhale. Lift the torso. Keep the knees as they are. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Let your head release. And now let the legs straighten. Tuck your chin into your chest. Bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, reach the sternum chest forward. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat and then step back to a plank position, a high plank position. Now we're going to take just a little hover here for a moment. Our elbows are going to be in close to our sides. The chest and the pelvis are going to be off of the mat. Press out through your heels. Reach your chest forward. It's your first chaturanga. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower down. You can always bring the knees down and just hover the torso right above the mat. Look forward. And then exhale and come all the way down. Good job. Untuck your toes. Slide your hands back next to your middle ribs. Squeeze your elbows in close. Tip the buttocks towards the heels. And as you breathe in, straighten your arms. Lift your hips up off of the mat. Lift your thighs up off of the mat. Look up. Squeeze the lower shoulder blades together. Broaden the upper shoulder blades. Take one more breath in. And then exhale and make your way back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathing here, push back into your thighs. Now lift your right leg, breathe in, just hips distance high. You're not trying to hit the ceiling with your heel. Press the foot straight out. Exhale, bend the knee and plant the foot between your hands. Come up onto your fingertips. Pivot plant your back heel for Virabhadrasana 1. Drawing back through the right hip as you rise up. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, float your hands back down to the mat. Lift the back heel and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale and come forward into plank. Again, firm thighs, firm belly. Bend your elbows out to the side as you slowly lower down and maybe take a little hover for a moment. And then all the way down. Untuck your toes. Slide your hands back next to your middle ribs. And then lift your chest, lift your spine, roll the shoulders back. Here in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, you're balancing on your hands and your feet. Keep the weight on the inner edge of those hands. Exhale, pull back with the feet, tuck your toes under, and come back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. 5 breaths here. Take the feet a little wider or child's pose. Your choice. What does your body need right now? Honor that. Offer that. Still those bandhas. And still that Ujjayi breath. Now looking to the front of your mat. Bend your knee. We'll come into your downward facing dog if you've taken child's. Bring your feet back in line with your hips. Bend your knees. Come up on those tippy toes. Look to where you want your feet to land. And then inhale, step, hop, or float yourself to your hands, however you can get there. And then hands to your shins. Reach the sternum chest forward. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale and bow back down. Tuck your chin into your chest for a moment. Bend your knees, coming back into that little squat. Ujjayi inhale as the arms lift. Exhale, palms together, legs straighten, hands to sternum chest, and hands to your sides. Good work. Take a few breaths here. And then turn to face the long side of your mat for Trikonasana triangle pose. We're going to take triangle pose into Ardha Chandrasana here. It's a common transition in vinyasa classes. Find your yoga blocks. Place your blocks behind you in a wider format, so a little closer to the ends of the mat, and then stand right between them and in front of them. This is also a good time. Grab a drink of water, take a little sip of water, take a lap around your mat, whatever you need to do. Okay, are we ready? Let's do this. Bring the big toes together, have a little space between the heels, find Tadasana to begin with. Now bend your knees and bend your elbows, and take your hands just above your sternum chest. Firm bandhas, inhale, step or hop your feet wide, and make sure that those toes are facing forward. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Turn your left foot in about 30. Have the pelvis facing forward, the torso facing forward. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, Ujjayi breath out, reach as far over to the right as you can. Take your right hand to the block. Lift your left arm to the ceiling. Roll your right shoulder back, roll your left shoulder back. Stretch the sides of your torso. Straighten your legs. Push your left thigh back. Now take your top hand to your top hip, and here we go into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Bend your front knee. Shuffle step in with the back foot. Carry your block with you. Carry your block with you, and place your block just about a foot in front of your right foot and out to the side of the little pinky toe. And then lift your back leg. Keep your supporting leg, your right leg bent. Straighten the left leg and turn the toes to face forward. Lift the leg. Now straighten your right leg. Push down into that right foot, all 4 points. Use your bandhas, use your breath. Lift your top arm. Extend the arms away from each other. Turn the lower ribs forward, the upper ribs back. One more breath. Top hand to top hip. Exhale, carry the block with you as you bring your back foot down to triangle pose. Lift your top arm again. Inhale and rise up. Bring your back hand to your back thigh. Turn your right palm to face up and sweep it above your ear. A nice stretch. Breathing here. As we come forward, we're going to bend that front knee. Exhale, Ujjayi breath. Bring your right hand back to the block. Sweep your left arm over your ear. Uhita Parsva Konasana. Press your right thigh open towards the little toe side. Let's pull ourselves back up, flowing back up. Inhale, keep the lunge strong. Bring your left hand to your back thigh. Reach your right arm back up, keep your lunge strong. Good. Exhale, come back to Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten your front leg. Turn the feet to face forward. Move your block out of the way. And then bend your elbows, bend your knees, and step or hop yourself back to Tadasana. So that's a little common sequence that you will find embedded in a vinyasa class. Let's do side B. Standing in the center of your mat, big toes touching, little space between your heels. Sense of humor, got it? Okay, here we go. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, inhale, and step or hop, everything nice and wide. Make sure your feet are in line with each other. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees. Angle your right foot in about 30. Good. Take a deep breath up the front of the body for triangle pose. Exhale as far over as you can. Take your left hand to the block and bring your right arm above your head. Stretch the arms away from each other. Roll the left shoulder back. Roll the right shoulder back. Deep breath. Right thigh is firm and pressing back. That's going to be the leg that you're lifting in Ardha Chandrasana here in just a moment. The moment's here. Use your bandhas. Bend your front knee. Take your top hand to your hip and then lifting your back heel. Shuffle step in. Carry the block with you. Place it to the outside and in front of your little toe, and then lift your back leg. Straighten the back leg and turn the toes to face forward. Straighten your supporting leg. Press down into all 4 points of that left foot. And then lift your top arm. Let the top arm help you lift that back leg. Reach those limbs. Straighten the limbs. Use your bandhas. Use your Ujjayi breath. Take one more inhale. Top hand to top hip. Bend your supporting leg. Come all the way back to triangle pose. Lift your top arm. Inhale. Rise up. Straight legs. Firm bandhas. Back hand to back thigh. Left arm lifts. Keep the legs straight. Don't let that back leg bend. Keep that leg straight. Don't let it bend. Reach to the sides of your body. Now as you exhale, come forward, bend your front knee, and bring your left hand back to the brick. Sweep your right arm over your head. Turn to look up underneath your arm, Utthita Parsva Konasana. Ujjayi inhales, Ujjayi exhales. Let's rise back up. Keep that front knee bent. Keep your lunge strong. Inhale, rise up, back hand to back thigh, and front hand lifts. Be graceful. It's a beautiful offering to the sky above you. And then exhale. Come to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Turn the feet to face forward. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, and inhale, step or hop yourself back home. Tadasana, also called Samastiti. Move your blocks out of the way. Come to the short side of your mat for Surya Namaskara B, little vinyasa again. Bend your knees, lift your arms. It's like the last time you're going to be in this pose, maybe. But imagine it is. Use those bandhas. Give a little bit more. Drop your hips a bit more. Take a huge breath in. Exhale, come forwards and down. Tuck your chin into your chest. Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to your shins. Roll the shoulder blades back. Ardha Uttanasana, your half lift. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat and step yourself back to plank pose. Working with your core here, really use those bandhas. Come up on the tippy toes. Press out through the heels. Reach the chest forward. Exhale and lower down. Hover for a moment. And then come all the way down. Untuck your toes. Forearms are straight up and down next to your middle ribs. Roll the shoulders back. Push down into the tops of your feet. Inhale and gaze up. Beautiful back bend. Heads of the shoulders roll back. Thighs lift. Inhaling and exhaling. One more round. And then pull back with the feet. Press the hips up and back for Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg and sweep it through. Come up onto your fingertips. Plant your back heel. Rise up. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale all the way back to plank pose. Pause there for a moment, take a breath in, and then exhale and lower down and hover. And then all the way down. Is it getting easier? Untuck your toes, hands next to your middle ribs. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathing here, enjoying your breath. Feels so good. Lift your left leg. Exhale it through. High lunge, come up on those fingertips. Pivot, plant your back heel. And then rise up. Last Virabhadrasana 1, right here. Like you're carrying the sun back up to the sky. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Exhale all the way back to plank pose. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, and lower down and hover. And then all the way down. Untuck your toes, hands next to your middle ribs. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Or child's pose. We're here for 5 breaths. Using the Ujjayi breath and your bandhas. Restore the rhythmic flow of your breath. And then looking to your hands, stepping your feet back in line with your hips, coming back into downward facing dog if you were in child's, and then flow yourself on an in-breath to your hands. Roll the shoulders back, bring your hands to your shins, half lift. Exhale, bow back down, chin into chest. Now this is your last Utkatasana. Bend your knees, inhale, and lift your arms. This pose feels so good. The buttocks are moving down, the lower back is broad, your core is engaged. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bring your palms together. Take them to the sternum chest. Close your eyes and take a few breaths right here. Notice how you feel. Warm? Yeah? And then bring your arms down next to your sides and open your eyes. Step your feet hips distance wide. For Baddha Hasta in Uttanasana, bound arm pose in forward extension pose. Sweep your arms above your head. Bend your elbows and catch hold of your elbows. Now, reach your elbows up a little higher. Isn't that crazy how you have like this extra space there? Reach them up a little bit higher. Use your bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Now, as you exhale, pivot forward at your hips. Keep the spine long, those arms reaching forward. The upper arms next to your ears. And come all the way down. Lifting the kneecaps. If this is a little challenging and you feel a pull on your lower back, bend your knees and let your torso just rest on your thighs. It's a beautiful way to strengthen and stretch your lower back safely. So don't insist on having straight legs if it's uncomfortable and you feel a pull in the lower back. Breathing here, let the arms get heavier. And take a few complete exhales, like extra attention to the exhalation here. And now just let your arms dangle. Take your hands to your shins and slowly walk yourself up your legs. Chin is tucked until the chest is lifted and then the head comes up. Good work. We're going to take a little flow to seated. We're going to do some seated poses now. Bring your feet together. Big toes touch, a little space between the heels. Inhale, lift your arms. Gaze up, find a little bit of a back bend here. Buttocks down, sternum bone up. Exhale, reach as far forward as you can. Bend your knees enough that you can bring your fingertips to the mat. And then come up onto your tippy toes, bend your knees and lift your heels. So you're in this little squat position here. Keep your ankles squeezing together, your knees squeezing together, and then let's just try to balance here for a moment or two. Spine is in Tadasana. Gaze is soft. Bandhas are engaged. And then sit down, however you get there if you're not there already. Good. Take a little drink of water. And then find your blanket and place your hips up on the blanket. Find your strap. Make sure your strap is handy. This is Paschimottanasana, Western stretch. Calming to the emotions and the nervous system. Very soothing to the heart and to the brain. Find your strap. And those are all good things, right? Yeah. Remembering that yoga, while it seems like it's working our physical body the most on the outside, it's actually very, very good in healing for the internal body, your internal organs. You're squeezing them, you're pressing them, you're twisting them, you're getting all the toxins out, you're stimulating them. Very important, maybe one of the most important parts of your physical practice is the good that it does for those internal organs. Now taking the strap to the balls of the feet, the arms are straight, the shoulders draw together, especially those lower shoulder blades. Can you bring them together just a bit more? Can you scoop them up underneath the sternum bone, as if you could spread the sternum bone with those lower shoulder blades. Now broaden your upper shoulder blades and bring your front ribs in. Firming your belly. Guess what? Relax your glutes. Yeah. Take a deep breath in and gaze up. And then as you exhale, draw the torso forward. Bend your elbows out to the side to come down. So keep the collarbones spread. Keep the upper shoulder blades spread. Keep drawing those lower shoulder blades in and up towards the sternum bone. Now if your hands, elbows are significantly bent here, you can crawl your hands to your strap. You can let go of the strap and bring your hands to your feet. And if you have a lot of extra space, you can reach past those arms or past those feet and with your arms and then catch hold of your wrist. Doesn't matter where you're at. Find a place that is challenging you and stretching you but not causing pain or worry or anxiety. That's how you know you're a little too deep in a pose, is if your brain gets a little nervous but your ego says, no, I can handle this. That's a good indication you can't. 2 more breaths here. It can be the Ujjayi breath, but very soft and very smooth. Now halfway up as you inhale and exhale. Release your pose. Bring your hands next to your hips for Dandasana. Okay. Our next seated pose, it's a forward extension, it's a hip opener, and it's a twist. It's Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. With your first 2 fingers, catch hold of the back of your right knee and lift your foot. Let the ankle dangle. Just give the leg a little bit of a relaxing release. Let the shin fall away from the knee. Roll your ankle around. And then gently put the foot down on the mat. And with your right hand on the outside of your right knee, press your hand into your knee, press your knee into your hand, and help that leg open up. You'll get a nice little stretch doing that as well. Take your right big toe and bring it to the inside of your left thigh. Your left leg is straight forward and the toes are facing up. We're going to take a little twist here just to get our body adapted to it. In the full pose here, the torso will shift over to the left thigh and then we'll fold forward and we'll clasp on, or we'll use the strap or whatever we need. Let's find that shifting action first. Let's do that first. Take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Bring your left hand behind you, right? Pretty easy. Both hips stay equally weighted. The right knee is pressing down and away. Notice the more you press that right knee down and away like you do in tree pose, the more you can shift that torso over. Turn to your left, look over your left shoulder, bring it out. Belly in and up, pelvic floor engaged. Shoulders releasing away from the ears and your chin is level. Exhale and come back to center. That's that little shift there. Now find your strap. Place your strap on the ball of your left foot. Straighten your arms and lift your chest. So same action here as in Paschimottanasana. The difference is the torso shifts over to the left just a little as your right knee presses down and away. Gaze up, Urdhva Mukha, upward looking. And then shifting over to the left. Exhale and come forward over your left thigh. And Again, same thing here. If you can get to your foot with your hands, that's great. If you can't, that's great. Use your tools, use what you need to have integrity in the pose, to not be suffering, to be receiving the benefits. Elbows lift and draw back. Keep shifting over to the left, reaching the crown of the head towards the feet and the heart, the chest towards the thigh. Final breath in. Inhale and rise up. Exhale and release. Help your right knee back up and then straighten the leg. You feel a little difference, one leg to the other? Catch hold of the back of the left knee, lift the foot, and just let it kind of dangle. Let ankle release, let the shin fall away from the knee. It'll release the pressure. We had a lot of standing poses today, right? And then let the foot come down to the floor. And bringing your left hand to the outside of your left knee. Push into that left knee with the hand and push the hand into the left knee. Open up the thigh. Slide your left big toe to your inner right thigh. The right leg, toes are facing straight up. Neutral, no rotation on this right thigh. Let's take our twist. Both hips equally weighted. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right thigh and your right hand behind you. Firming your core. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, and take your twist. Breathing here, notice where the breath can move and where it's not as available. In our twist, a little harder to breathe into the side ribs, so use your front ribs, use your back ribs. And then exhale and return back to center. Finding your strap, place your strap on the ball of your foot. Straighten your arms and lift your chest. Shift your sideways right here between the pelvis and the lower ribs. Shift your sideways over to the right. Press your left knee down and away to make this action easier. Then breathing in, gazing upward, Urdhva keep that shift, keep the left buttock on the mat. Exhale and come forward over your right leg. And again, whatever bind is available to you here, take it. Be happy with it. Practice a little contentment in this pose. Even while you're striving for improvements, you're still very happy with what you're able to accomplish. Keep shifting, moving the crown of the head forward, moving the sternum bone down. Press that left knee down and away. 2 more breaths. Inhaling, half lift, rise up. Exhale and release your bind. Help your left knee back up and straighten your leg. Bend both knees and bring the bottoms of the feet together. This will feel very good. Heels in towards each other, toes in, pressing in towards each other. Press your thighs down, lift your chest. Now if you feel here your back is rounding, bring your hands behind you. That's a better pose. Deep breath. Push the thighs down to lift the sternum, chest. Wherever you're at, those inner shoulder blades are drawing in and up. Good. And now bring your hands to the outside of your knees and help the legs come back together. Come to all fours on your mat and have your block handy. This is Virasana, Hero's Pose. You're going to take your blanket and today we're going to open up the blanket 1 full level. Have the fringe facing away from you. Make sure there's no creases in this. Be precise in your practice. That's part of your tapas, your discipline, even with your props, especially with your props. Now find your block and place your block right at the back of that blanket, right in close to that seam. You may need 2 blocks depending on the flexibility of your ankles, your knees, and your hips. So have your second block handy. I even have a foam block right here. And you can see it's like a half a size. So if I need a little more height, I can even do that, okay? Now, you're going to come to kneeling in front of this block. Your ankles are going to come to the outside of the block. Watch me. I come so that my ankles, the block's between my ankles. It's not between my shins. Sometimes that gets a little confusing. It's not between my shins, it's between my ankles. Okay? My knees are touching. I'm going to bring the crown of my head to the floor, lift my hips nice and high, reach into the back of the knees. This gives the knees a really nice stretch. The back of the knees, a nice massage and a nice stretch. I'm going to pull the calf muscles back and start to roll them out to the side as I lift my head up off of the mat, reach my hips back to that block. Precision in your practice brings freedom, Mr. Iyengar. Notice where my hands are. They're wedged between my shins and my thighs. I'm going to pull them out to the side to keep those shins rolling out. Helps me get my hips down a little bit lower. And then arms come down to the shins or down to the thighs and the chest lifts. So let's do. Come onto your blanket. Take the block between your inner ankles. Bring the crown of your head to the mat. Lift your hips as high as you can. Reach into the backs of your knees. And really get in there. Give them a nice little massage. Push on the backs of the knees. And then roll the calf muscles back and out to the side as you reach your hips to the block. Slide your hands out to the left and the right. And then bring your hands to your thighs. Lift your chest. Very heroic pose, right? It is a tonic for the ankles and the knees and the hips. Mr. Iyengar, a tonic. So if you have ankle or knee conditions or hip conditions, this pose may be very challenging in the beginning, but bit by bit, and I can attest to this, having ankle injuries and knee injuries, it will heal them. It will heal them and stretch them and balance them very safely. I'm living proof. Now, reach your arms forward, testify, interlace your fingers, and turn your palms to face away. We did a lot of work on our hands and our wrists today. Inhale, lift your arms above your head. Reach the creases of the wrists up, roll the pinkies back, and tighten your elbows. Notice the more you push down into your feet, your shins, and your hips, the higher you can lift those arms. Exhaling, release the arms down, turn the palms to face up. Give your shoulders a little roll around, and then staying equal and balanced, reach the arms forward once more. Take the opposite interlace of the fingers. Turn the palms to face away. Push down into your foundation, your feet, your shins, your buttocks. Inhale, and lift up with the arms. Stretch through the roots of the fingers, stretch all the little joints. Doing this hand position here will keep you from getting arthritis in your knuckles later, or delay it, or improve it if it's already going on. Very good for your arms and your hands. Take one more breath. And then exhale with integrity, bring those arms down. Now, reach your right arm out. Reach your left arm out. Reach your left arm out. You're just going to take hold of those fingers. With your right hand, just kind of draw it back. Just get a nice stretch through the wrist a little bit here. Just a little bit of love for the hands and the wrists. And then tuck your thumb into the palm, wrap 4 fingers around, and draw the palm back towards your elbow. A little tightness there. And then releasing, and go to the right arm. Reach your right arm out, turn the fingers down, just pull back on those fingers gently. Just take a nice stretch, get a little space in through especially a lot of you who are working from home on your computers, right? It's a great stretch. This will keep you from getting carpal tunnel later, and it will keep those wrists very healthy and strong. Now releasing, tuck the thumb into the palm, wrap the 4 fingers around, draw the fist back towards your torso. And then releasing. Roll the fingers and arms around, roll the wrists around, give the hands a little bit of a shake out. And then it's time to come up off of this block and come onto our backs for bridge pose. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, our inversion. We must never neglect our inversions. They're one of the most important parts of your practice outside of Shavasana. Now come up off of your block. Here's how to come out of your asana mindfully. Come up off of your block, move your block to one side. Bring your hands to the mat, cross your ankles. Uncross your ankles. Cross them in the other direction. And then roll over your ankles and straighten your legs. Now when you first start doing that, like I said in the beginning, it may be a long time. Might be a lot of space between the hips and the floor. You know, you may feel like you're kind of floating and floating and floating and floating. That's okay. It will come. It will come with time. And if it doesn't come, well, you've been practicing Santosha contentment so much and doing so much of your yoga that you don't even care. You're content. Bring your hands next to your chest, or next to your hips. Lift your chest. And then release your pose. Walk yourself back off your blanket. Take the blanket and return it to its natural studio fold. This is what we call the natural studio fold, the way you would find it in a studio. And then place your blanket at the back of your mat so that it's handy for your Shavasana. Have a block handy, and then coming down onto your back for a bridge pose. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Round your spine, tuck your chin into your chest, and slowly lower down. Snuggle the hips in, snuggle the shoulders in. Should feel pretty darn good after all that work you just did. Good kind of work, healing work. Walk your heels in a little closer to your hips, and then reach your fingers down to those heels. Make sure your heels are facing forward, toes are facing forward, and the feet are hips distance wide, as are the knees. Now, you know where your block is, so you're not going to turn your head to find it. If you have not seen this pose yet, please just watch. Just watch me. We don't want to turn the head once the hips are up off of the mat, so it can compromise the integrity of the neck and get a little kink in it. So just make sure to keep your gaze soft and up towards the ceiling or the sky once these hips are off the mat. So this is what the pose looks like. Not turning my head. I take the block and I place it right on my sacrum and just a little bit of my glutes. Just a little bit of my upper glutes and my sacrum. So it's not on my spine, on my lower back spine. It's on my sacrum. Now palms turn up, shoulders tuck under, and then the legs lift. The sternum chest moves to the chin. The head stays neutral. We slow down the breath. The Ujjayi breath happens naturally here because the chest, the throat is slightly constricted in the full pose. Now the only time you wouldn't lift your legs is if you were a female and you are on your cycle. We would want to just stay right here. If that's the case for you, this is a better pose and more nourishing for you than lifting the legs. So if you're not in the pose yet, go ahead. Make sure you know where the block is so you don't have to turn your head. Tuck your shoulders under, turn your palms to face up, and then lift your hips, vertebrae by vertebrae. First the lower glutes, then the upper glutes, then the sacrum, and then each vertebrae until you're up to your shoulders. Tuck your shoulders under, find your block, and place the block underneath your sacrum. It's either at the level 1 height or the level 2 height of the block. And then return the palms to face up again. And if you feel well balanced and you'd like to progress this pose, lift your legs. Spread your toes. Slow your breath down. You're here a little bit longer than the rest of the poses. We stay in this pose a little bit longer. You know, like a washing machine, we stirred everything up. We got all the dirt and gunk out of our internal organs, and we Sweated it out through our pores. Now we're in the spin cycle. Letting it all go. Breathing here. Spreading toes. Hold someone you love up on the tops of your feet. It'll make this easier for the next few breaths. Sternum chest lifting towards chin. Slow breath, listen to your breath, soften your gaze. And now preparing to release the legs back down to the mat. Exhaling. One leg down, and then the other leg down. Take a few breaths here. And then lifting the hips up off of the block. Slide it out of the way, still without turning your head. And then catch hold of your hips, your glutes, and just lengthen the flesh as you roll yourself down. And then bring the knees into the chest. Hold on to the backs of the thighs for happy baby pose. Separate the legs wide and then reach your arms between your thighs and catch hold of your shins. You can get up to your feet. Well, that's great. It's not necessary. You can keep working with the shins. As long as your sacrum is on the mat still, the sacrum is on the mat, the entire spine is supported, then you can start to work your hands up to your feet. Press into the thighs with the elbows, and maybe even rock side to side a little. Massaging the kidneys and the lower back. And then come to center, releasing the shins, bring the knees together and the feet together. Give yourself a little hug. Take a deep breath in, take a full breath out, and then lift your forehead towards your knees and squeeze. Inhale the head back to the mat. Exhale your feet back to the mat. Reach the arms wide. Shift your hips a few inches over to the left and let your knees lower to the right. Turn your head to the left. Look past your left fingers. Press your left shoulder blade down, your left upper arm down, the forearm down, and the back of the hand down. Take a few deep breaths all the way down into the hips. And then rising back up with the knees and the head, bring everything back to center. Shift the hips back into line with the shoulders, and then shift the hips over to the right. Let the knees lower to the left, and turn your head to the right. Press your right shoulder blade down, upper arm, forearm, and back of your hand. Lift your head and turn it so the ear gets a little closer to the floor. Breathe all the way down into your hips. And now rising back up. Shift your hips back in line with your spine. And you have reached Shavasana, deep relaxation pose. So taking your favorite position here, if it's with the legs straight, let the feet fall open and bring the arms down towards the back bottom of your mat. There's a little space underneath the armpits. The palms turn up and the thumbnails click down on the floor. Flatten your shoulder blades underneath you and let the collarbones spread to match that width. Now, if this feels like the lower back is overarching and a little tight, you can take the blanket and slide it underneath your head and neck. And that might help release your lower back significantly. If it's still feeling a little tight back there, bend your knees. Take your feet to the sides of the mat. Feel the sides of the mat. And then let the knees rest on each other and tuck your hips under. And then the lower back settles, the belly draws in, and that should eliminate any stress or strain. You can also swing your legs up a wall That's another really nice version for your Shavasana. And it gives you just a little extra inversion as well. So whatever position you're deciding is best for you today, take that position, close your eyes, take a huge breath in, hold it in. Now open your jaw wide and sigh it out. Moisten your lips. Draw your tongue back into your mouth and let it relax onto the lower palate. Little space between your teeth. The inside of your mouth is hollow and quiet and dark. As you start to move back in towards your true self, towards your soul, towards your spirit, towards the you that only you and God know. Right? Now allow the little muscles around your eyes to soften. And melt away any tension between the eyebrows and underneath the eyebrows, the temples, the cheek muscles. Imagine an angelic expression on your face, just content and peaceful and pure. Notice your nostrils. Let them soften and relax. The throat is fully accessible to the breath. There's no restriction. There's no constriction. It's open. It's free. And you feel the breath move in through both nostrils, swirling down your throat, filling your lungs. The lungs, with their intelligence, take what they need from the air, the prana, the life force. And they give back whatever they don't need. Your lungs do not hoard. They give it right on back. They send it right back out into the world to be recycled, to be breathed in by trees and plants. And then the trees, the plants, the grass breathes it out. And you breathe it in. We are all energy, plants, light, trees, animals. We are all just vibration, energy, and space. And we are all interconnected. Notice the little muscles around your ears. Let them soften and relax. And even down the ear canals as you go deeper and deeper into yourself. Relax your inner ears. The skin on your body. Your final sense organ, the sense of touch. Take a delicious breath in, and then as you exhale, let your skin relax away from your muscles. The arms and the legs, the front of the torso, the back of the torso, even your scalp, even your head, the skin relaxes and releases. Turning those fibers inward, feel inside your body. Rest here. Enjoy the peace of this moment. Enjoy the fruits of your asana practice. With the lovely chime of the tingsas, the holy call to attention, start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Feeling the prana stream into your body, the life force, the energy. Send it all the way out to your fingers and your toes. And then when you can imagine it or feel it, start to bring a little motion back by just brushing your fingertips across your thumbs, giving your toes a little wiggle, feeling the space in the air between them. And then just roll your wrists around and your ankles around and turn your head side to side, ear to earth. Here to earth. When the body's ready, sweep the arms above the head. Take that just big full body stretch, natural organic stretch, and even sigh it out. Bend your knees one at a time. Shift your hips a few inches to the left, and then roll completely over onto your right side. Stay here, keep your eyes closed, breathe deep. Take a moment to thank yourself for your practice, for getting on your mat, and to lock in this good feeling. And then using the strength of your arms and moving very slowly so that your head is the last thing to rise up. Make your way to seated. Always moving slowly and gracefully and mindfully as you rise up. It's like being born again. Every time you get up from Shavasana, you are different, you are changed. You are not the same person that you were when you got onto your mat just a little over an hour ago. You're not. Congratulations. That's awesome. Bring your palms together and we'll dedicate our practice. We take the good merit of this practice and we give it away. We send it out into the world. We offer it up to something greater and bigger than ourselves. This is the practice of Ishvara Pranidhana, to stay unattached to the fruits of our actions and to surrender our actions to something greater than ourselves. So we give this practice to the world. And we wish for all beings everywhere to be happy, to be safe, to be healthy, and to be at peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Celebrating the good that you've done here today, especially in the giving away of your practice. Together, we offer one Om, one resonant, harmonious Om, and notice perhaps your Om is deeper and smoother at the end of your practice than the ones that were at the beginning. So it's kind of fun to notice. But listen to the sound that you make. Make it your pure, holy sound, like a prayer, like an offering. Exhale to begin. Inhaling your breath. With head bowed. Float the backs of your hands down to your thighs and turn your palms to face up. Keeping your chest well lifted and bright, your eyes still closed. Take a full, smooth, delicious inhale to draw your chin up to center. And then let your exhale sweetly and softly open your beautiful eyes. I can't see your eyes, but I know that they're shining and they're so happy. They're those little post-yoga eyes. And so I thank you so much for being present for this and for being my teachers. And from the light inside of me, I bow down to the light inside of you. Namaste. Thank you. Bye.